Okay, in this lesson, we're going to look at extreme values of functions and kind of how to find them and how we can use calculus to find them. It's really, really, really cool. And all that means is we're looking for like peaks or valleys. It's no different than when you were told to find the vertex of a quadratic equation when you were in Algebra 2 or Algebra 1 or wherever you learned that. It's going to be the same sort of situation. So if I've got some graph right here, and this is just going to be real, this is totally, I'm just totally making this up right now. So if I have some graph that looks like this, then what happens is I've got a couple of really interesting things that are going on. Number one, I've got an absolute max or absolute mins. That's what I'm looking for. And if I have arrows on the end of my graph, that would indicate that I don't have, in this particular case, an absolute maximum. An absolute maximum is the highest that a graph will ever go. And then it will go no further than that up. And so an absolute minimum is the same for that, except now it's no further. A graph goes as low as possible and then does not pass that point. So if we look at this particular example right here, if you'll notice, I have right here an absolute minimum because my y values don't go past that. Okay, I don't have an absolute maximum because my graph would continue up. Okay, so an absolute max is a value only where I reach a maximum height, a maximum height. Let's find one. Let's find one here. Let's try this out. What if we looked at, what if I have this graph right here? If I go, all right, we're going to do this. Okay, if you'll notice right here, I have an absolute max right there. There's my absolute max. So there's no y values larger than that. Here's my absolute min. There's no y values smaller than that. And that's how absolute value or absolute max and min work. Now, if I have a graph that is defined over a specific interval from here and it does something like this, then my absolute maximums and absolute minimums occur actually on those endpoints. Okay, so that's how all this absolute max and absolute min stuff works. Well, what about exploring these extreme values here? What, on the interval from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2, find the max and min values for sine and cosine. Well, remember what sine and cosine look like from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2?